Most dog owners are doing something every single day, and it's slowly pushing their dog away. Not in an obvious way, not in a way you would notice right away, but in small, repeated moments. And the hardest part is this: you think you're doing everything right. You feed them, you walk them, you play with them, you talk to them like they're family, you love them. But what if some of the ways you show that love are being completely misread, not ignored, misread? Meaning, the message you think you're sending is not the message your dog is receiving. And this isn't about rare mistakes. This is about things you are probably doing today, this morning, maybe even a few minutes ago. Without realizing it, you might be creating small moments of disconnection. And over time, those moments don't stay small. They become a pattern. Most people never notice this because their dog still wags its tail, still follows them, still stays close. So everything looks fine. But connection isn't just about presence. It's about alignment. And when the signals don't match, something quietly shifts. Here's the good news. There are a few small things. Each one takes less than a minute that can completely change how your dog sees you. Not just as the one who feeds them, not just as the one they live with, but as their person, the one they choose. Stay with me, because the last one will change the way you touch your dog for the rest of your life. The moment you come home matters more than you think. Think about what happens the second you open your front door. Before you even step inside, you hear it. Movement, nails on the floor, that sudden burst of energy building behind the door. And then they see you. Your dog explodes, spinning, jumping, whining, maybe grabbing something, anything, just to release what they're feeling. And what do most people do? Down, stop, calm, or they turn away, ignore it, wait for the dog to settle. It makes sense. You don't want to reward chaos. You've probably been told that ignoring overexcitement is the right thing to do. But here's what almost nobody tells you. That moment is not chaos. It's a ritual, a biological one. Dogs are pack animals. And in the wild, when members of the pack reunite after being apart, there's a process. They don't just notice each other and move on. They engage. They check scent. They vocalize. They reconnect physically. It's not random excitement. It's a bonding protocol that has been wired into them for thousands of years. And for your dog, that moment when you walk through the door is one of the most emotionally important moments of their entire day. They've been waiting for it, not passively, but with anticipation. So when that moment finally happens and it gets shut down, even gently, even with good intentions, your dog doesn't understand why. All they experience is this: the moment that was supposed to complete the connection ended early. And over time, something subtle starts to change. The excitement doesn't disappear. It just becomes tension. In fact, studies observing dogs during owner reunions have found something interesting. Dogs who receive warm, engaged greetings show lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, not just in that moment, but for hours afterward. Which means that first 30 seconds doesn't just affect the greeting. It affects your dog's entire emotional state for the rest of the day. Now think about that. A few seconds of connection or disconnection, echoing for hours. And if you've been walking through the door, brushing past them, telling them to calm down, without realizing it, you may have been cutting short the one moment your dog needed most to feel reconnected to you. So here's the shift. The next time you walk through that door, pause. Just for 30 seconds. Get on their level. Let them come to you. Let them sniff you. Talk to them. Let the ritual finish. You're not rewarding chaos. You're completing a process their brain has been waiting all day to complete. And when you do, you'll notice something. They settle faster. They relax deeper. They stay closer. Not because you trained them to, but because something inside them finally feels complete. This isn't about managing behavior. It's about honoring connection. The way you look at your dog is not what they feel. There are moments, quiet ones, when you look at your dog and feel something real. No commands, no movement, just eye contact. And in that moment, it feels like connection, like they understand you, like you're close in a way that doesn't need words. And you're not wrong. There is real science behind that feeling. Studies have shown that When a dog and their owner share eye contact, both experience a rise in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between a mother and her child. So yes, that moment matters. But here's where most people get it wrong. They hold the gaze too long, too still, too intense. Because from a human perspective, that feels like love. But from a dog's perspective, that can feel like pressure. In canine communication, a fixed, unblinking stare is not neutral. It's a signal, a challenge, a form of tension, something that requires a response. So when you look at your dog, with intensity in your eyes, even if your intention is soft, their nervous system doesn't read your intention. It reads your posture, your stillness, your focus, your lack of movement. And suddenly, what you thought was connection starts to feel like something else. If you watch closely, your dog will tell you. A small look away, a quick lick of the lips, a yawn that seems out of place, a slight lowering of the head. These are not random behaviors. They are signals. Your dog is trying to diffuse tension that you didn't even realize you created. And if you've been doing this, thinking you were building connection, without realizing it, you may have been creating small moments where your dog feels the need to disengage from you, not because they don't love you, but because the way you're looking at them doesn't feel the way you think it does. So here's the shift. Next time your dog is calm, close to you, don't stare. Soften. Let your eyes relax. Let your face loosen. Let your gaze be something they can enter, not something they have to respond to. Hold it for a few seconds. Then look away and watch what happens. They'll stay. Their body will soften. Their breathing will change. Because now, they're not managing your gaze. They're resting in it. This isn't about eye contact. It's about emotional safety. Inside the smallest interaction, when your dog acts out, they're not misbehaving. Now think about this. A day when you're busy, you leave the house, or you move from room to room, and your dog is just there, waiting, lying down, doing nothing. And later, you come back to something chewed, something torn, something out of place, or they start pacing, barking at nothing, digging, stealing things they've never touched before, and the thought comes up instantly. They know better. They're being bad. They're acting out. It feels intentional, like a choice, but it's not. Dogs are not built to do nothing, not mentally, not internally. For thousands of years, their brains evolved to solve problems, to track, to decide, to read environments, to respond. They were bred to work, to herd, to hunt, to guard, to retrieve, which means their brain isn't just capable of activity, it expects it. So when that need goes unmet, the energy doesn't disappear, it redirects. And what you see as bad behavior is often just a brain with nowhere to go. Here's what's interesting. Studies comparing dogs who receive only physical exercise to those who receive mental stimulation have found that mental engagement reduces stress more effectively than a long walk. Let that sink in. You can tire your dog's body and still leave their mind restless. And if you've been walking your dog every day, feeding them, caring for them, and still seeing these behaviors without realizing it, you may have been meeting their physical needs while leaving their mental world completely unstimulated. And over time, that creates frustration, not toward you, but inside them. So here's the shift. Don't just move their body. Engage their mind. Hide small amounts of food and let them find it. Teach them one new thing, even something simple. Let them solve something, because when you do, something changes. They don't just become calmer, they become more connected to you. Because now, you're not just part of their environment, you're the source of the most meaningful activity in their world, and that changes how they see you. This isn't about fixing behavior. It's about giving their mind a place to belong. But here's what most people completely overlook. It's not just what you do with your dog that shapes your relationship. It's what happens when you do nothing at all. The moments you think don't matter, matter the most. Think about this. You're sitting somewhere in your home, on your phone, working, reading, doing something that has nothing to do with your dog, and your dog is nearby, not asking for anything, not trying to get your attention. Just there. Most people don't think much of these moments. In fact, a lot of owners feel a quiet guilt here. I should be playing with them. I should be doing more. I'm not giving them enough attention. So, They reach out, call their name, try to engage, because it feels like love should be active, like connection needs to be visible. But here's what most people don't realize. For your dog, this moment is not empty. It's everything. Dogs are proximity-based animals. One of the deepest ways they experience safety is not through interaction, but through presence. Just being near you, not doing anything, not performing, not engaging, just existing in the same space. And research on canine attachment shows something fascinating. When a dog is simply near their owner, even without interaction, their heart rate drops, their stress levels decrease, their nervous system stabilizes. Your presence alone regulates them, which means when your dog chooses to lie near your feet instead of going somewhere else, that's not random. That's a decision, a quiet one, but a real one. They are choosing proximity over comfort, connection over distance. And if you've been interrupting those moments, calling them over, trying to do more without realizing it, you may have been breaking a state where your dog already felt most connected to you. So here's the shift. Once a day, do nothing. Sit somewhere and let your dog choose. Don't call them. Don't touch them. Don't engage unless they initiate. Just be there and watch. Over time, they'll come closer. They'll settle faster. They'll stay longer. Not because you asked them to, but because being near you feels like the safest place they know. This isn't about attention. It's about being someone they don't need anything from to feel okay. The way you touch your dog starts before you touch them. Now let's go back to something simple. Something you do every single day without thinking. You reach out and pet your dog. It feels natural, automatic. But from your dog's perspective, something important just got skipped, because dogs don't lead with touch. They lead with scent. Their nose is how they understand the world, not just objects, not just other animals. You, where you've been, how you're feeling, what state you're in. All of that information comes through smell. In fact, dogs have up to 300 million scent receptors. Humans have around 6 million. The part of their brain dedicated to smell is massively more developed than yours. So when your dog interacts with anything, the first step is always the same. They sniff. That's not curiosity. That's intake. That's how they confirm. This is safe. This is familiar. This is understood. Now think about what most people do. They reach down and pet their dog immediately, often from above, on the top of the head, without any pause, without any introduction. From a human perspective, that's affection. From a dog's perspective, that can feel abrupt, even slightly intrusive, because you skipped their primary way of understanding you. And if you watch closely, some dogs will flinch slightly or hesitate for a fraction of a second, not because they don't trust you, but because the interaction started too fast. So here's the shift. Before you touch your dog, pause. Lower your hand to their nose level. Don't push it forward. Just let it exist there and let them come to you. Let them sniff. You'll feel it. A soft press of their nose, a moment of stillness. That's the intake completing. That's your dog's brain saying, I know who this is. And then, touch. Under the chin, on the chest, not from above, from a place they can see. This takes 3 seconds. But those 3 seconds change everything, because now you're not initiating contact. You're allowing understanding first. And dogs remember that. More than almost anything else, they remember who let them process the world in their own language. This isn't about petting. It's about respect. Inside the smallest interaction, the way you interrupt their rest changes how safe they feel. Think about this. You walk past your dog, and they're asleep, curled up, peaceful, completely still. And without thinking, you reach down. Maybe you stroke them gently. Maybe you whisper their name. Maybe you even pick them up, because they look too perfect to leave alone. It feels like love. It feels harmless. But from your dog's perspective, that moment is something else entirely. Dogs sleep a lot, 12, sometimes 14 hours a day. And that's not laziness. That's recovery. That's when their brain processes everything they experience during the day. That's when stress resets, when the body repairs, when the nervous system stabilizes. But more importantly, Sleep is when your dog is at their most vulnerable. Every instinct that normally protects them is turned down. Their awareness is low. Their body is relaxed. Their guard is off. And the only reason they allow that to happen is because they feel safe, safe enough to not be ready. So when you interrupt that state, even gently, even lovingly, your dog is pulled out of deep vulnerability into sudden awareness. New context, no warning. And even if they recognize you immediately, even if they settle again, something was registered at a level you don't see. That space became slightly less safe. That sleep became slightly lighter. And if this happens often enough, you might notice something subtle. They start choosing different places to sleep, further away, more hidden, under furniture, behind objects, not because they're rejecting you, but because they're looking for a place where their vulnerability won't be interrupted. And most owners never notice this shift until it's already happened, until the closeness they were used to is gone. So here's the shift. The next time you see your dog sleeping, do nothing. Walk past. Let them rest. Let them finish the cycle. They trusted the environment enough to enter. And then watch what happens. When they wake up on their own and come find you, the connection is different, warmer, more present, more complete. Because it came from safety, not interruption. This isn't about letting them sleep. It's about protecting the one state where they trust the world enough to be completely defenseless. The way you touch them can either comfort them or connect with them. Now we get to the part that almost no one talks about. You already touch your dog every day. You pet them, scratch them, run your hand along their back, and they like it. They wag, they lean in, they stay close. So it feels like you're doing it right. But there's a difference between touch that feels good and touch that means something. In the wild, when dogs or wolves bond with each other, they don't touch randomly. They groom, but not everywhere. They focus on very specific areas: the base of the ears, the back of the neck, between the shoulders, places a dog cannot reach on their own, which means the only time those areas are touched is by someone they trust completely, a pack member, family. And because of that, those areas are wired differently. When touched slowly, gently, repeatedly, the dog's brain doesn't just register pleasure, it registers belonging, connection, safety at the deepest level. Now compare that to how most people pet their dog. On top of the head, quick pats, random scratches. It's not wrong, but it's surface level. It doesn't access that deeper system. So here's the shift. Once a day, when your dog is calm, not excited, not asking for something, just relaxed, place your hand at the base of their skull, where the head meets the neck. Use your fingertips. Move slowly, small circles, gentle pressure. Then move down, along the back of the neck, toward the shoulders. Take your time. Watch them. Their head will lower. Their eyes will soften. Their breathing will slow. Their body will shift. Not just relaxing, dropping. That's not just comfort. That's a neurochemical change. You are triggering the same bonding system that exists between pack members. And if you've only been petting your dog on the surface level, without realizing it, you've been missing a way to communicate something much deeper. Not just, I like you, but you belong with me. This isn't about touch. It's about speaking a language their body already understands. And here's the part most people never realize. Until much later, you can love your dog deeply. You can do everything you believe is right, and still be slightly out of sync with how they experience you. And the distance that creates is quiet. It doesn't break the relationship. It just makes it shallower than it could be. And by the time most people feel that difference, they don't know where it started. It was never about doing more. It was never about loving your dog harder. It was about loving them in a way they understand, in the way you greet them, in the way you look at them, in the way you engage their mind, in the way you sit beside them, in the way you let them understand you, in the way you protect their rest, in the way you touch them. Every small moment was saying something, and now you finally hear it. So the next time you walk through that door, the next time they look at you, the next time they come and lie beside you, pause just for a second and ask yourself, am I speaking their language or just mine? Because if you want to understand your dog, not just live with one, This is where it starts.